Hi everyone! Welcome to the first episode of the Northern Level Game Dev Podcast. Today I am with Oscar and Connor from StudioPilled. Do you guys want to say hi?
Hello.
Should be on here.
Oh wow, your mic just went funky just then. Anyway, so I met you guys at the Game Republic Gamio Awards, didn't I?
You sure did.
Yeah, you'll have met most of our team over there.
Yeah, because I'm looking forward to meeting Harry, your lead. But yeah, do you guys want to go over who you are and
Yeah, sure. Oscar, do you want to cover the little intro?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Oscar. I'm the lead 2D artist and marketing lead at StudioPilled. So I do things like concept art, UI assets, other 2D sprites, and marketing illustrations, manage campaigns and social media, what have you. Generally, we met at college and then we went our separate ways to different universities, but we stayed in touch all the way through. And then we decided by the end of 2023, we spent a year and a half looking for jobs in the gaming industry and the creative industry. And then we decided, let's do a game studio together. And that's where we are now. Connor, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I mean, there's been definitely some valleys, highs and lows across since we first formed. But I think it's been pretty fun to come together as a team, especially considering we already knew each other before. But yeah, I'm Connor. My role on the team is I'm the audio designer, and I wasn't always an audio designer. Before I fully joined with the team, I used to freelance and do voice acting gigs, and that was on Fiverr. That was like around a year and a half. And that was really fun to me because it's something I aspired to do when I was a child. Watching cartoons, a little bit of Ben 10. I wanted to be Ben 10, although I don't know if I'm quite like that boy yet. And then eventually I found out that Oscar and a few of my friends were doing, I think it was a game jam, right?
Yes, it was the Snappy Gurus game jam.
Yeah, because I think I remember when we first met at Gamio, you were saying that you did a few game jams. That's where one of your project came from, and your current one, which we'll be talking about later, isn't it?
Yeah. And that game jam, when I heard they were doing it, I was like, can I join and do audio? And for me, that was a big fake it till you make it moment, because I'd done voice acting stuff before, but leaning into SFX and audio design was a whole different realm. So I took a dive, I took a shot. They said yes, obviously. And ever since then, it's been more making it than faking it, really. And we've come together as a team since then.
It's one of those things where generally, if you don't push yourself to do it, you don't know if you're able to do it. Mostly because quite literally, it's one of those things where you say hypothetically I could do it, but you don't test you could do it. You don't actually know if you can do it. But if you don't think you can do it, but jump face first in, and you do it, you just proving this to yourself. You can trust in what you believe more than not thinking, oh, I can't do that, and it's just you putting yourself down.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous phrase I live by as of recent, but I'd rather be more confidently stupid than hesitantly perfect, which is something that will ring throughout a lot of our projects and production processes. We kind of just put ourselves in a burning platform situation. We make something in a few days, then next thing, that's our project we really hang on to.
Yes.
What happened to our current project?
Yeah, it's just like with mine, which is Night in the Main Museum. That one was done. I had 2 weeks between working a job, which I don't work at anymore, before I started that job, and then I just thought, you know what, let's just get some game development done.
It's all practice at the end of the day, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a lot of practice, but I think I said this the other day, we did a meet the team thing, and it was like, I think one of my quotes was, just do it. Like, just try and make something, regardless of your circumstance. It's amazing what you can learn in just a few months. And dipping your toe in the water is the best thing you could do for yourself. Because once you start making things you're proud of, then that starts a cycle that is addictive. But it's a great world to be in, especially in that local scene, because we've got so many great individuals.
Yeah, and it's also, so I've not done this podcast yet, my video on this yet, because I'm going to talk about have you ever heard of a Go Kit?
I haven't.
I have not either.
A Go Kit is basically if you need to get up and go and travel somewhere. You can't be taking a 1500, my rig's 1500, you can't be taking a 1500 rig anywhere with you. Or just to go down to studio for 2 days, you can't be taking that. So my game is, do you know, it's been built on this.
Yeah.
This is part of my go bag. So it's just like, do you like how you said, oh yeah, I can't build games? This is where I've got this from. You can build games on low-end machines.
Yeah, for sure.
You may not be able to run Unreal. Unreal is tanky. It is stupidly tanky. But
I had
trust me, my machine, my fan kicks in, which is like, eh?
Yeah, I feel like I got a spaceship under my desk.
But because I know you're using Unity like I do.
Yeah.
You use Unity like I do, and it is such lightweight. So if you are running on like a low-end machine, you don't actually have to have a 40s 90 GPU. You could be running it on. This runs on I think it's a Radeon 7. Radeon 7 and its internal graphics. Yeah, this is meant to be a gaming laptop, which was about 500 quid. And 500 quid for a laptop isn't exactly that much these days, is it?
Yeah, it's pretty entry point nowadays.
Yeah. Okay, so...
Sorry, I was going to say, it's one of those things where a lot of people perceive it as really hard to get into because of the specs. But again, Unity is perfect. And even smaller production softwares, if you were really into stuff sort of like, Doki Doki Literature Club, run a bit of Ren'Py, that takes nothing. And the coding is really simple. It's basically baby's first Visual Studio. So there's so many ways to get into it. And especially if you want to tell a story, Ren'Py is a really good entry point because of how easy it is to run. It's so good.
Ren'Py, is that an engine?
Yeah, it's basically an engine that is specialized specifically for those visual novel type games, sort of like Doki Doki. So if you create your background, your characters, stuff like that, all you do in the programming is like, at this point, call this image, call this background, display this text, give them these two options. And it's really good for people who want to get into the narrative side of gaming, especially if they don't have the hardware for something like Unreal.
Okay. Going back to Unity as well, what I really like about compared to Unreal when you install it is Unity's modular. You don't have every component packaged in, whereas Unreal, you start a new project. It's just giving you like a overly detailed like character human creator. Whereas Unity, it's like, oh, I just want to have like animated GIFs. That's a module you can grab, and then all of your projects are lightweight because you're not getting every single tool in the box.
Yeah, it's kind of, so like a moment. My game runs lightweight, yet my laptop has an issue with my dev scene because but when I don't have to have the MetaQuest software inside it, because I'm not gonna lie, you try running that on a laptop, the laptop starts taking itself off.
Yeah,
which is really nice. You don't have to have all your packages inside, like you said. Okay, so How many are currently in your studio, or how many people do you currently work with? Because I met what? There was you, the 3D modeler. Were you there, Connor, or not?
I was not. I was ill, which sucks.
I met Harry.
Yeah, Harry's our main developer and producer.
Mm-hmm.
There was George,
Sure. Yeah.
and there was B as well.
Is B the one who the 3D modeler?
No, she. Oh wait, was Izzy there too?
Yeah, she came along.
Okay, yeah, Izzy was there, and she's done a bit of 3D modeling as well.
Okay. So how many is
She's done about 2D.
yeah? So how many people are there like in total in your studio, or who you work with on this game? Because I know you got it was the potion game. I was
Yeah, Clock.
the other one.
The way, I'm sure we could talk about this. The way it works in our team is we have full-time members and then contractors. Contractors being they're not completely on board, but we reach out to them to make assets for us. And then full-time members are like fully committed to the bit.
Yeah, the full time members is like our core of the team. So you've got all your leads and stuff like that, and we call them quote unquote contractors, just to have like an actual name for them. It's people that maybe they're busy with life, maybe they're students and they wanna get their first time at doing something outside of projects. It's an opportunity for people to pitch into a project without the responsibility of what you would normally have. So, your sprints, your usual delegations. These people would take like tasks on a case-by-case basis if they've got the time for it. And then it allows us to be malleable with students, with people who are like full-time working. And it just gives experience all around everybody on the team, while we still got that main core driving force who are doing the sprints, the delegations every month.
Yeah, which is always good because quite literally, there's always that myth with the you need 3 years experience.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a little with that, your uni experience actually counts as experience. There's a lot of myths at the end of uni. When you want to apply for a junior role, you need 3 years experience. It's not you need 3 years industry experience. You just need 3 years experience working on games. A lot of studios are a little bit more lenient because it's like they've just come from uni. All their work is portfolio, all the coursework. My general advice for that is what stands out ahead for which is great for you guys, especially if what you guys are doing, especially if they've worked on things outside of uni.
Yeah.
Because you'll have 120 students in a games course per year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
120, and that's just in one, maybe design. Art, you're talking 200. Animation, you're talking about 30. I wish I was joking about animation being that short. It's not. It's been getting less and less each year, which is very, very concerning.
It's kind of sad.
Considering how important it actually is.
Yeah, it's just like, it's one of those things where, oh no, I don't want to be an artist, but an animator is gonna. It helps bring 3D games to life. Otherwise, you're just gonna have T-poses.
Some people like that these days.
People really get really fixated on what role they want to do in games. Like I kind of describe the amount of people who want to be concept artists or character artists, including myself. Which is the good thing about being on StudioPilled doing work was I found out I enjoy doing UI art, which still involves a bit of conception. It's the kind of work that needs doing, like I guess sort of like animation, but it's like it's a niche I really enjoy, and I don't think it gets talked about enough. Like there's a lot of, I guess it's the same for technical art. Like there is such a strong need for tech artists in like roles. Like when I went around searching for job roles, that was always a need. You never really get heard much talk about it in university. I believe Izzy on our team is want to specialize in tech art. I've
Yeah, she had a big phase where she was really into it, and I think she still is massively into it. We've got a module at the minute, and it is VFX, and she's shining with it, doing brilliantly. So I think not only as a role is that something that's pretty good to specialize into, but I think it's really rewarding as well, especially if you are into it as a creative, because I mean, sometimes it's those little effects that some people won't notice, but when it comes together in a scene, it brings everything to life. It's like you say, it's one of those things that maybe there's less people than there should be, but the importance of that role is so high.
Yeah, it's like my specialty. Ironically, I have a games animation degree.
Yeah.
My specialty is gameplay programming. Yeah, I know, right? It's almost as if I completely switched genre. But yeah, my specialty is gameplay programming. Give me a challenge, tell me build this, and I will figure a way out how to do it.
That sounds like our developer.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's like because because I originally started coding when at uni when I built a auto rigger, which would it's like a technical as a technical animator. I built like an auto rigger in 3ds Max, buggy as hell. This is like my first proper coding project. It worked. It built the rigs fine. Getting it to actually mesh it to a bit rig, questionable. But that was mostly because there were, I think 3ds Max doesn't like it when you build auto rigs. It also could be the fact that I had to learn Max coding, which is, my God, Max coding is.
Yes, Max coding.
Yeah. Why
Sounds like a different universe.
Yeah. Why does it need its own language?
I know Blender used to have coding. Like you could make games inside Blender like years ago.
Yeah, they took that feature out in 2018.
Then we have Autodesk with Howard Hypers.
To Scratch. Scratch was the guy.
That's true.
Oh, here's a random question. What was your first game engine you ever used?
Game Maker.
First game engine I ever used. I think it would have been in college, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What did we use in college? Was it
Unreal Engine.
It was Unreal 4, right?
Yeah, we used Unreal Engine 4. We used Blueprints.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. You guys had used Unreal 4?
Yeah, it was something else.
Yeah, I'm not going to say what my first engine was Game Maker. I thought it's like 90% of people's first experience in game engine, like game making, is Game Maker. Because it's visual scripting. The way it codes is, how do I put it? It's block coding.
Yeah, yeah.
It's blueprints, but block coded.
Yeah.
Yeah, at start, if this is true, do this. If false, basically blueprints, but block, not as pretty.
So that appeals to my visual brain.
But was it? Yeah, it was Game Maker. But after doing Game Maker, my second engine was UDK.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is the Unreal Development Kit.
Yeah.
Which was Unreal 3.
Yes.
It's dangerous tech.
I remember 2 games for that. I know Hat and Time used it for like Hat and Time and obviously Unreal Tournament 3. That's the 2 games I remember off UT3. And I think Mortal Kombat X used it as well. I'd recognize that.
Did that?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Actually, Yeah.
You're gonna double down. It's your song.
I thought MK11 was on 4, but I think that's on 3 as well. They've been, I guess they're sticking to the stable engines, not like everyone jumping on UE5 in every game breaking.
Hey, it's not like what Unity had a software has a security issue for the past like
Yeah,
6 years.
that is very true.
Yeah, but saying that, yeah, it took them 6 years to someone to find it.
Yeah,
So it's not as bad. It's not like it was. It's not like if it's only just been discovered 6 years later. Yeah, there's a massive issue, but all it is basically rebuilding a game in the fixed edition, and it's fixed.
yeah.
Okay,
I
so
mean, it's good the fix is so simple because otherwise there could be a nightmare.
yeah, nightmare, and also a lot of big lawsuits because
So yeah,
Big time.
let's not talk about big time. You're gonna get me singing.
as long as it's not golden. That song drives me up the wall.
Well, now that you've mentioned it, I do feel a rising temptation. I'm gonna hold it off,
Oh wait,
but it's there.
Yeah.
Even.
Okay. Oh yeah, please,
Sorry, go on.
please don't. Please just that song gives me nightmares. Okay, so what made you want to make games?
Well, I mean, I'll take the first part of this and I'll hand it off to Oscar. For me personally, I grew up playing video games. Ever since I was a kid. I think some of my first games I used to play on the PlayStation 2 with my mother. You know, like Crasher, Nitro Kart, Spy versus Spy, some of the really old PS2 titles. And I think the first game I played where I was like, yeah, this is sick, and it's going to sound so silly, it is Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie.
Oh, back new game.
And I say this to this day, you go back and play it now, that is like playing a Resident Evil prototype. It holds up. If they gave that a new lick of a new lick of paint and charged 50 quid for it, I'm buying it tomorrow. But when I played that game, it had really unique combat systems. So, well, for the time anyway, you'd obviously be on the island, so you're fighting these giant centipedes, these pterodactyl creatures, these dinosaurs, and obviously you got Jack Black in your ear just going, "This island's fantastic, Jack." And that was the first game where, as a kid, I was like, I want to make games. So when I finished school, the first thing I did was decide, okay, there's a games course at this college near me. I'm signing up for that straight away. And honestly, the rest has been history. I've wanted to do nothing but make games since I played King Kong as a kid.
Yeah, I remember playing that on the 3DS.
I don't even know that came out on the 3DS.
It came out on the 3DS. To be honest, it wasn't too bad. No, sorry, not a 3DS, a DS game. It came out on like their OG DS. I say it wasn't too bad, but saying that, kids have rose-tinted glasses on when you're playing games.
Yeah, they definitely do. Especially back then. Well, I say back then. Nowadays, we've got like Warzone enjoyers.
Well, at least you didn't grow up with Kong Skull Island on the new one.
True. That was a nightmare.
Okay, what about you, Oscar?
Tell you what, Colin's mentioned his iconic game. Mine was, and I think you'll agree with me, The Simpsons Hit and Run. That was first game 100%, and probably only went my way to 100%. That was one of my touchstone to getting into games, but I think it mainly came from watching videos about Gary's Mod and wanting to get a laptop to play it. Also love Big Planet, rest in peace. So I basically made games by playing in a sandbox, and that, part of that came with, modding games, and that got me interested in how games were made and, breaking them apart in the engine and see how they worked. And then that went into using actual engines to make games. And then that spiraled into me going to college, then into uni, doing the game design course, doing the masters. And I found myself on the concept art end of games. So that's where I got to. I never really got into the programming, but I always liked the design aspect of video games. And with that, I did a little bit of, I kind of found myself, I like to freelance for game art, and I ended up doing stuff not just for video games, but I did artwork illustrations for a tabletop RPG. I did work, but I saw on the Steam game that never released, but I did all this pro bono experience towards understanding how games worked, what the workflow was for making the game, and understanding, at the end of the day, it's interactive media. Realistically speaking, it's harder to make than a film, because you're making a combination of every form of media at once, like writing and art and all of that stuff, but interactive, and yet it's a really fun medium to work with and to tell stories with. So that's kind of where I come from on that side of it.
Yeah, have you ever seen some of the 3D films? It's just like, oh yeah, it looks great within that shot, but after that shot, everything has just gone to chaos.
Yeah.
With games, you can't have that.
Yeah.
Because with games, if one bit of your game turns into pure chaos and someone sees it, yeah, that's so glad we don't have the thing called the internet, because, the internet forgets things. Doesn't it?
It's quite interesting now. Now we have an Oscar-winning movie made in Blender with Flow.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is the one thing which really annoys me when people say only build games in Unreal. It's like, and I'm not gonna lie, this is a lot of uni students.
Yeah, I mean,
because
sorry, go on. Sorry.
A lot of, I'm going to guess you were taught Unreal. I'm going to guess you both were taught Unreal in university.
In college and university, that was our main engines.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everyone comes out of, most unis come out, you've only ever learned Unreal.
Yeah.
So when I talk to a lot of people, I've only done Unreal. Which is why I was kind of surprised when I saw your game and you told me it was done in Unity. Because was it your choice of doing it in Unity, or was it someone else's choice of doing it?
It was Harry's choice. That's his main.
Well, it was a collective decision, because our first game that we made was made in Unity anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then we brought Harry onto the team, and he already knew how to program in Unity. So he took the lead dev role, spearheaded it, and ever since then, we haven't looked back, just because it's worked for us so well. I think if it was Unreal, I think we would struggle to output what we do at the pace that we can manage, because I don't know, when I'm in Unreal, I feel bloated.
Yeah, oh yeah. No.
It's a hard feeling to describe, but there's a lot to think about, and there's a lot to re-optimize, because out of the shell, it already chunks my PC to a certain degree. Whereas with Unity, we just dive in, we build it from scratch, and then if it starts lagging down the line, we know we've made a mistake.
Yeah.
So for us, while it was someone's decision at the beginning, it's something that we've all collectively come to a bit like, yeah, we want to use this engine, which is why at university I was like kind of upset that it's only Unreal, because I'm not going to go and do Unreal outside of classes.
Mhm.
Which, yeah, I know some companies in the future, like, I don't know what's going to happen in like 30 years, right? So I don't know where I'm going to be working by then. It might still be StudioPilled, it might still be Unity, but in my mind, I don't want to be working on Unreal because that's not where I feel comfortable. So yeah, I think Unity for us as a team has been what we found our fun.
Okay, so you're saying you choose Unity over Unreal. Okay, so that's 2 for Unity. Well, 3 for Unity over Unreal. This is going to be interesting. I'm going to keep this as a running tally.
Yeah, you should.
Find out who prefers Unreal versus Unity, because it's always that debate. What engine do you prefer most? Do you prefer Unity or do you prefer Unreal? Because each one has its own perks.
Mhm.
The only time I picked Unreal at uni was when we did environment modules, and with Unreal, it's easier to make a nice looking scene out of the box compared to Unity. Not saying Unity scenes are bad, you just have to do more setups to get it to look right with the pipelines and what have you. But with Unreal, that was more straightforward. Although if I was doing environment stuff now, it would probably just be in Blender. If it wasn't for the context that had to be game ready, I would build everything in Blender.
Yeah, because I'm not going to lie, that's how I build a lot of my stuff. It's so much simpler just to build in Blender. Actually, so do you do, because this is my processes, this might be different to yours. Do you block out in Unity so you got scale set, then export it out into Blender?
The entire scene is built in Blender and then it's ported over to Unity. I think there's some cases where we block out some of it in Unity, but for with all of our previous projects, I guess say for terms and conditions, the whole scene is made in Blender at first, and then it's ported over.
Yeah, because while our developer works on the core mechanics and stuff, they'll build those basically on a flat plane while we build up the environment so it's properly ready. I mean, we definitely could Y-box in engine, but that's honestly the workflow he's comfortable with. And for us, it's worked so far. It allows us all to focus on what we need to do at the time. And that helps us be a bit more efficient in getting, especially for game jams. He could get all the mechanics bashed out. And at the same time, the environment's ready by the time it's finished XYZ. At least for the game jam. It gets a bit more techy when we're doing full projects, especially terms and conditions. That was started in Unity and then brought into Blender and then brought into it was this weird game of ping pong.
Okay, so I think we've just covered basically what everyone experiences or what's your experience has been in the industry. Because that was going to be the next question, but then was thinking, you guys already answered that. Do you guys have any funny stories? I know there's one I want to hear.
So stories.
Oscar, why do you start with the build-up for this one?
Yeah.
The one that I brought before this podcast. Oh, I can.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So, as per routine, when we're not doing studio work anymore, we're just hanging out in Discord playing games, having a conversation. And this was one day where I was just kind of keeping the house to myself. I was playing Resident Evil 5 co-op with my our friend Alex, who does 3D art. We were like a bickering old couple playing that, by the way. It was so funny.
Should have heard it by the Wesker fight. It was a nightmare.
Oh, me and
He had like shreddies at like 2 a.m. It was so spiteful.
A really depressed image on Discord in the middle of the night. It just said shreddies. And it was just him pouring over a bowl.
Anyways, we decided one fateful night, I was like, do you know what? I'm going to get Connor some food. Now, judging by my knowing the forced smile, my impulsive smile, you're seeing where this is going. And in fact, I'm going to pull the email up of my receipt order
No one needs to see the damn receipt for what you sent to my
So
call.
me and the other 3D artist, Max, we go into another call and I start the order. So I order a bar cola, a Ben and Jerry's chocolate fudge brownie ice cream tub,
It sounds brilliant so far.
and then we get onto the pizza. Now, I ordered half and half chicken balti and tuna delight.
Now this is where I'll take up the story.
No, okay, wait, I
because
just want to mention one thing.
go on.
Context. I ordered half and half. Now, my experience with Pizza Express is half and half means one side is this topping and the other is the other.
Oh no!
Now, I'll let him continue because, as you get by implication, that's not what it was.
So I'm just chilling. I don't actually know what's happened when they've ordered the food, but I get a knock on my door. Oscar tells me beforehand something's coming. I get downstairs, run down them, open the door. Hello. Oh, there's a pizza for me. Cheers, mate. I take it upstairs. I sit down. I open the box. And as it was described over here, half and half may have been purchased. What I received was not a half and half. It was like poker, because we were all in. All in. The whole thing was plastered in a sea of tuna so deep, I've never felt the despair I conjured in my chest when I witnessed that. And that was just a sight. Then the fumes hit me. It's like those films where, a cartoon's character smells something, floats towards the window. Mine was the opposite. So I smell it and my heart sinks. And I have to fight the urge to vomit over this pizza, which may have made it taste better if I had. So the issue is, I hate tuna. My traumatic experience as a child, school trip, I asked for a cheese sandwich. I bite into the cheese sandwich, it's tuna. I throw up. Right. And ever since that day, I knew I hated it. Hated the smell, hated the look, hated the taste. And this lovely gentleman has sent what is probably one of my biggest phobias on the planet straight to my house. Well, that's not a phobia I have. That is shared across my entire family. So my house, then, for the next 4 hours, smells of the most vile tuna you could ever conceive. So when he tells it, it's a funny story. When I tell it, it's repressed trauma.
Yeah, but I bought you a chicken tandoori afterwards.
He did buy me a chicken tandoori afterwards, didn't it?
With Rubicon mango.
He did. I do love Rubicon mango. Although, it didn't drown out the smell.
Okay, moral of the story of this one: don't send food to people who don't like
Or at
it.
least double check what food they like before they run to the door.
I did.
No, you didn't. You did not. Oh, sorry, I'm getting heated.
Why don't
I'm really passionate about
why don't we call it down by talk about the Middlesbrough trip, because that's funny altogether.
Oh,
Okay, yeah.
So, not so much a single story, but we as a group decided to go up to Middlesbrough for the Game Republic New Horizons event. Great talks, by the way. And our lovely producer Harry, he got a Airbnb meant for 8 people. He negotiated to have 10 of us. So it was 10 people in a house, 2 of them on the sofa. And it was, I think it turned into less of a networking outing and more of a
Sesh.
unhinged trip, yeah. Colin, do you want to tell us about the speaker?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go through the whole trip as a whole. So it was great. And despite what Oscar says, we did do a fair bit of networking when we got there. It was a great time to see everybody. All the talks are brilliant. But before we got to the talks, we had this running gag because the front room had a window to the back alley.
mhm.
So I would personally take it as my invitation to Michael Myers, everyone,
Oh,
and outside the window, random points. Anyway, build the tension. But it was upon our first day of waking up that we realised somebody's sleeping in. Somebody's sleeping in too long. So we figured out who it was. It was Harry, and his girlfriend was staying with us. They had their own room. They woke up about 3 hours later than they were supposed to. We took that as we held it as a grudge. So the next night, now don't do this, but we did, but don't do this. So our friend Max brought a Bluetooth speaker, and I don't know if any of you have ever played Rainbow Six Siege. There's a character in that game, I believe she's called Ying. She's got a special ability where she's got flashbangs that are little balls. You can roll them across the floor, right? So I brought out the inner Ying. Max turned on the speaker. I think Crazy Frog was playing at max volume.
No, it was it was paraphrasing it. I can't say it because it swears, but it says, "Fighting on my roommate's door."
Okay, yeah, it's a horrible video. I didn't choose it. Max chose it. Anyway, I practiced my inner Ying. They're in bed. They're about to go to sleep, right? It's maybe 2 a.m. because it was after the party at the end of the talks, and we held that grudge. So in the middle of the night, I slowly walk up to the door. It's not very stealthy because the speaker's blaring. I open the door, practice my inner Ying, throw it in there, and for the next, I don't even know how long it was. It must have been like half an hour. All you could hear was Max's alternating tracks on the speaker. And yeah, we got him back.
Are you sure the giveaway wasn't the speaker, or everyone just laughing before it even went in?
That's also true. We were like a bunch of schoolgirls who were giggling outside the door. Like,
Speaker's great. He sleeps to like white noise. We share the room, and I wake up at it was fine, by the way. I enjoyed it. But I wake up at 4 a.m. to like Ezio's Family blasting and all that.
Yeah, you went to bed to like the ODST theme.
Yeah,
It was so cute.
Rain ambience. Yeah.
But yeah, basically we turned a speaker into a form of warfare, and we won.
I have to give special thanks to Joe and me for making breakfast for 10 people.
They did.
Whatever they could use. We had to resort to bowls.
Yeah, Airbnb didn't have enough plates, so we had to end up. I think I put some in a wine glass at some point.
So if you've not drunk wine out of a cup like this, you're not doing student life, bro.
Oh, what was that thing outside your window? That wasn't so pleasant.
Oh yeah, this Airbnb was brilliant. I mean, it was a basic house, whatever. We had our own shenanigans. You put a bunch of games designers in a house, it's already going to be bedlam.
Yeah.
You know, the standard playing Jackbox at night, watching movies, talking too loud. It's fine because I got my own payback. Well, someone inflicted payback on me. We had a cat sensory alarm in the back garden. And the issue is, it didn't just beep for cats, it beeped for itself. I think it was a self-performer. It was just like a bard singing off to itself. Yeah. And it was right next to my window. So I'm trying to sleep, and every 30 seconds,
singing it.
I'm trying to sleep. I got across the whole. How many days were we there? Was it 2 sleeps or 3 sleeps?
It was like 2 sleeps.
No, I think it was 3. Yeah, the day we got there, the event. Never mind 2. I think combined I got 2.5 hours sleep. It was diabolical, and that's not funny. That's just trauma, but that's what we bring. We bring comedic trauma.
Our funny stories is someone is on the receiving end for 99% of them.
But yeah, that's that. I think those are our highlights as a studio. Just because, especially Middlesbrough, was the first time that we all went to something as a group. So there were a lot more shenanigans. Because they're all like minor friend group stuff. It's like, they don't really amount to big stories, but it's just, you feel the vibes, right?
But it's always nice to have the entire team together, because if you have the entire team together, Okay, so this is if you have a full team that works remote and they never meet, you don't feel like a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's always nice to, let's say, every month or every 2 months to have a meetup, have drinks, talk,
Mm-hmm.
shoot pool, throw darts or stuff like that, because it helps team bond a lot more. Because when you're just working individually and you're working just talking to people on Discord, not gonna lie, Discord is a great tool when you're building games,
Mm-hmm.
but you kind of disconnect.
Yeah, for sure. I think we felt that a lot because now we're in a phase where we're trying to do that ourselves. We're trying to introduce just random meetups where we can go out as a team, have a great time. We've even put it on our whiteboard as one of our social media ideas. It's sort of like vlog one of the team's nights out and just sort of edit it down into like short format or whatever. But we're definitely on board with that because communication is key. But it's hard to communicate when you don't feel like a community, even if you're a team. So I think that's great advice, is just to spend time together if you can.
Yeah. It's a shame the game toast, Leeds game toast on for the next 2 months.
Yeah, but Andrew's been running those straight for the past 5 years.
Yeah, he's been on it for ages. But
Do a break.
Yeah, funny we should mention him. I might be having him on the show in hopefully March next year.
Okay.
We'll have to tune in.
Because he wants to burn the workload he's got, not add anything on. So hopefully I'll have him on next year. By the way, do you have anything you guys want to show off? Because we've been talking for like past 40 odd minutes, and it's kind of like these were meant to be 42-minute episodes, but looks like it's going to be a little bit longer.
Apologies.
I know, don't worry about it.
But I mean, we could. There's two. I mean,
Oscar, do you want to start with like a little 5-minute speed run of Clockwork just to show it off a bit?
I can do. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go for that.
We talk about so Clockwork Concoctions, as you see, is our current project. Obviously, we showed the vertical slice of a Gimeo, and based on the results we got, we have no intention of stopping.
Do you guys want to explain that? Because I know what you're talking about, but obviously anybody who's just shooting won't know what. Let me just watch the stream.
We'll explain after you showcase the game. So basically, as you can see, you start a little wizard tower. You bob down here. This is our little tutorial man, but we're not going to talk with him.
Yeah, we skipped the tutorial, but you guys shouldn't play it because otherwise you might get lost. We're trying to work in some things. But yeah, the game as a concept is you've just inherited this chronomancy tower from your father, and to run the business, you've got to brew potions for the village. The village, people who come to the door, anybody and everyone who gives you a request, or just for yourself. And you've got to brew these potions by hitting your skill checks, as you can see at the minute.
Mm-hmm.
If he misses too many skill checks, you might end up with pretty bad potion. You don't want to miss those skill checks. But yeah. And now he's brewing the potion. You could press the little green button on the cauldron. Speed it up a little bit.
I go answer the door because...
Yeah, let's go onto the door. So we've got random little goofy characters that will come to the door. We're going through an audio rework at the minute, so the voice lines are being swapped out with new ones, just because the mixing was a bit off and I wasn't proud of it. But we needed something to ship for Gmail, so... basically, as the game stands at the minute, you are just trying to complete people's requests, brew your potions. And if you go all the way downstairs, Oscar... Okay, well, it's there's a little research table down here. And we can put these ingredients in. And we've got 2 types of potion. Well, we've got 3 types technically. There's named, there's peculiar, and there's putrid tar. Usually, the player experience is going to end up making a peculiar. But
that real quick.
If you get 3 ingredients correct in the right order, you're going to get a named potion. And that's what Oscar just did at the research table, is you got goblin gruel. and that was putting 3 grubs into the pot. And these potions, they all have unique effects. We're trying to work it in with a new system so that you can generally recreate certain effects with peculiars. Because if you put, for example, an angelic ingredient into the potion, that should give you the properties of if you'd made an angelic named potion anyway. Just because there's a few elements in the game that require specific potions.
Very well.
This is our butler.
Please leave what you need to sell by the door and ring that bell once you're ready.
So this guy will appear whenever you want to sell whatever you've got. Talk to him, put it inside that little box. You can sell off your potions for a profit. Now head to the boards to your right, Oscar. There you go. And this is your little market. As you can see, we've got some that are up, some that are down. It's basically our own interpretation of little stock market thing. Just ingredients will randomly fluctuate. And at the minute, this is what we had prepared for the vertical slice for Gameo, just to get a proof of concept down. So the portion brewing, the research. We wanted all of our core elements together to see how people responded.
Little ingredients, fine.
And because people really seem to like it, we've got a really nice roadmap looking for us. And we're aiming to have a lot of what we've got planned in by next Gameo. So that's things sort of like, we've got little scavenger hunt areas across the tower itself. So like I mentioned the angelic potion earlier, I believe if you drink that one, it'll give you the power of flight. So it'll allow you to ascend up and down, whatever. And if Oscar looks up when he's done brewing here, you'll see there's a bunch of pipes. And drinking that angelic potion will allow you to fly or jump all the way up there. And you might find a clue to gain certain sheets, references, stuff like that.
Okay.
Our other plans at the minute is we're going to add a greenhouse area so that you can grow your own ingredients, because we're trying to brew this into a bit more of a tycoon-y feel game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been our bread and butter at the minute, is sort of trying to integrate mechanics that feel right, that add to the gameplay loop, that don't just feel like a bit blah. Yeah, speak to the Duke. This is one of our characters.
It's to share the Duke's wisdom on this podcast.
Yeah.
Also, I do. My favourite one is if it rains, it's wet.
So the Duke is a quirky little character, and you can ask him for another one.
He's a penny to gamble with.
Right. Ask him some of his other prompts. Ask him what your name is. So the Duke here is going to give you your character's name. You don't know it until you speak to the Duke. So if you press it now, you'll see that
It's customary for me to choose the wizard's name. So I'm going to call you... I think I'll call you Glee.
in your glebe. In this game, your glebe. And one of our core pillars for the game at the minute is bringing that sense of comedy in, blending it with the gameplay loop itself. Because I feel like a game like this needs to have a bit of whimsy to it. If you're just going for like, we like to call it Alex Car inside the actual group. And that's because a member of our team, Alex, is really into, you know, you've got the whole Dungeons and Dragons stereotype of the human fighter. That is Alex. He's very cut and dry. So we want a lot of diverse, goofy characters, but we still want what we would call Alex Core in here, because that adds an inherent contrast. So at the minute, as the game stands, it's just this continuous loop of brewing potions, trying to find ingredients and stuff like that. So at the minute, like I mentioned, we've got that nice roadmap, and we're just trying to bring a lot more content to it, along with an end goal that I'm not limited to disclose quite yet, just because we've still got a few elements that are up in the air. But basically, now that we've got this proof of concept out, all mechanics work really well. We found 0 bugs while we were testing at Gameo. So we think this is the perfect place to take it and then continue onwards. And basically, what I'm trying to say is watch this space, because there's a lot coming and we really want to add to this diverse world. And Oscar, if you want to, we can go over some of the other planned elements in the roadmap for this game.
Sure thing.
Oh, what's it?
It's been really interesting actually because this originally started because this was also a Game Jam game that originally started as a game where, well, the Game Jam's theme was like clocking ahead. So the original idea was you were an alchemist who was rapidly aging after failing to gain immortality, and the whole game was originally about brewing potions to slow down your aging. And then it slowly turned to this tycoon format. But yeah, currently on the roadmap, if I just go pull this up, it's going to be a list that is publicly available on the Nova Games Discord. So we've talked about this already. So we plan to have rival interactable wizards with towers. We're going to have, as mentioned before, greenhouse of global ingredients. We're going to have a reputation system of customers and new NPCs with quests in the tower, like with the Duke.
Okay.
Yeah.
That I kind of see where you're going with it, because this how do I put it? Job simulator. It's so current moment is very job simulator. But you've added like the sales thing. But with the roadmap you just mentioned, where you mentioned you have the greenhouse, which adds like a whole new element of like Stardew Valley. And the rival towers could be interesting because you could have it where it's a co-op, you're playing against your mate who...
We'd spoken about that a little bit. Yeah, it is definitely an idea that's floating about.
I think
it's a really cool premise. It's just about implementing it down the line. It's not in our immediate roadmap, but it is something we've spoken about.
And it
might be really interesting.
And I won't lie, if that roadmap, you could potentially put that into a VR headset.
Yeah, we had a couple people, I think, mention that it would be good to do it for VR because it is very hands-on. Sort of, you throw in the ingredients into the potion, you can open the latch, speak to the customers, stuff like that.
I think I mentioned it when I spoke to you, didn't I? Or was it someone else? What's good?
It might have been you. I wasn't there, so I'm not too sure, but...
Because I mentioned it, with the way the gameplay runs, it's very similar to Job Simulator. But with it being first person and you grabbing stuff, because there's a new window, there's a new update in the Unity Meta Quest software where you can actually use your hands. You don't have to have controllers.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Plus, with the price of the new headsets, the one thing is, so I'm not sure if I mentioned this, I'm a VR developer.
Yeah.
So everyone thinks, oh yeah, you need a MetaQuest 3S, you don't, a MetaQuest 3, like the full edition, you don't. All you need is this. This is the S edition. Same hardware. So sorry, same internal hardware, slightly different external hardware. Better, this has got infrared at the front, hence why it's got better hand tracking than the OG Freeze. And the lenses are different. That's the only two key differences. Also, it doesn't have the headphone jack. They took the headphone jack out. Literally is why it's got this. Well, you can't say it. This here is a headphone jack. The MetaQuest 3s have a headphone jack. The S's, they stripped it out and fully put it down to Bluetooth headphones. Or Bluetooth only. But yeah. So your game could be very interesting if it is put into VR.
I mean, it's definitely something that I want to talk about with the team because I exactly see what you're saying. The interaction very much leans into, well, if it's in VR, it would be the same mechanically speaking because you're still grabbing it, you're still throwing it in. It's definitely worth having a conversation because I mentioned this before. VR, I feel like at the moment, is a very neglected market. and it's underrepresented, I think. So personally, I feel like it might be something worth actually diving down, but that's a conversation I need to have with the team. But for me, I feel like it does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, the more we get feedback from people, the more we see what opportunities can arise, not just from what we want to do out of passion, but, you know, when we put this game out, we see, oh, you know what, people really want this. And you know what, it's not something we're entirely against. We could totally make that achievable. So that's the fun of one, which is what I wanted to talk about after showcasing Clockwork, how we kind of springboarded off this month's Gameo, because when we started to prepare for the demo, to getting all the market assets and getting the game ready build-wise, we're like, okay, I think we're going to do pretty decently. We weren't expecting a lot of popularity, except that's what we ended up getting. A lot more success than we were expecting.
Especially compared to our first Gameo.
Yeah, in the first Gameo, first two Gameos,
Sorry, I know I said it poorly. I know that look. I do apologize.
Yeah.
When we first start, our first game before this was Terms Conditions, which rings bells.
That in our studio is a buzzword because the project, we ended up as a collective sort of disliking it. And just because it was our first time doing it as a group, really. And I feel like your first project, you're always going to run into usually the most issues. And I think for a lot of people, it's either you love your first project or you have what we have, and it caused a lot of internal strife. So we ended up really disliking it. Yeah, that's why it's kind of a buzzword for us. Anyway, go on, Oscar, sorry.
Yeah, so when we first started demoing TNC, we did not have any marketing stance at all. It was literally just a laptop, mouse pad, and just getting people to come every so often amongst all the pop games. I think our first demo, we were next to Dig VR, which was, I think that was just Adwater's game, and they were properly dressed for the occasion. But for this one, it was a bit different because we knew what we were doing. We knew how to sell the game for what it was, and we had all the marketing. And our resident wizard, Mateus, I'm very sure you saw him.
Yeah.
I'd be very shocked if you didn't. I just wanted to say he did amazingly marketing the game. He gave away a chest for chocolate coins. He had that little business cards. I think he hardly broke character.
He did from when I was there.
He gathered apprentices to our stand, and next thing, we were queuing halfway. There were people queuing halfway down the warehouse. We had I can't say specifically, but we received offers for publishing and some other. Basically, you get the idea. There was a lot of hype, and reading the message the next morning from what Harry had to say, we realized this is our peak, and now we have to lock in.
I'm not going to say peak. This is our opportunity, is what I would say.
We're about to hit another peak if this goes well.
Yeah, and the best thing about that was because Mateus came and he did so well for us bringing people in. The thing about Mateus is he's not somebody with a games design background at all. He's a physiotherapist, and that's what he does. But he's a close friend that, as he's watched us work on games, someone that has gotten really interested into development. So he's started doing his little one-off stuff, going Blender tutorials, learning how to do stuff, X, Y, Z. And the time came that we had a conversation with him about the studio because he wanted to take part. And we found that the thing he was the most capable of was games design, coming up with ideas, the GDD, concepts, stuff like that. And for me, that was a great example of going outside of where you'd expect. Because normally you're working on a game, you'd expect people that work on games, whatever. But for us, we got this physiotherapist banging out some of the best ideas like we've heard for the project. And it's a great example of just looking outside, you can find greatness for your own studio. And it's not just as a games designer, it's the way that he presented himself at Gameo. It really brought us that attention. And we're really thankful that he's chosen to join up with us, because while, yeah, we chose to invite him on, I feel like he's been nothing but a great asset for us. And I'm really proud of what he's done from physiotherapy to now being a really central piece in our studio. He's absolutely smashed it.
Because that's the thing. Sometimes it's the misconcept that you have to go to university or always be a gamer from a young age to be in the games industry. It's not always true. Like I said, he went from physio to your, I'm going to guess, project. It's not project management, project development.
Yeah.
Because when you're saying, believe it or not, did you have like your own GDD for this project?
Yeah, we had one outlined. For sure, yeah.
Yeah, because believe it or not, my game personally is kind of in development hell at the moment. Because it didn't have one at the start.
Yeah.
I started working this on in a coffee shop. Just to...
That's where the best ideas come from.
It went from, can I build Five Nights at Freddy's? Yes. Principle, I built Five Nights at Freddy's. It's buggy, but the problem is I don't have the things I'm missing are concept artists. Well, sorry, not concept artists. Artists and 3D artists and environment. Actually, it's just artists, believe it or not. I need an environment design and a character model. That's it. And then once I've got that, the project is pretty much finished. But it's trying to find those. And because did you ever do backing on yours?
So, elaborate, sorry.
Did you ever get backers for your project?
No, not at the start. It was just because it had springboarded from springboarded from Game Jam. We kind of just decided, all right, let's just flesh it out, because I'm not going to say it, but the event that we showcased games at was coming up, and we're like, okay, let's get it done. Let's show ourselves for a project we're really proud of, and then we'll start looking, because we'd spoke about it. We were speaking about, trying to contact publishers, trying to maybe get some sort of like backing, Kickstarter, stuff like that. And when we got to Gameo, it was like, okay, sorry, I said it. I said it. We got there and it was like, okay, now this is a potential thing. It's something that we're looking at even more now. So yeah, it's definitely in the realm of possibility now. But before, it was just, it wasn't something we could conceive, because to us, we hadn't made something that people were looking at yet. But now it's changed.
Yeah, one thing I would say is before signing any publishing contract, get it looked at by a solicitor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to lie, there are publishers out there which will, how do I put it, make it sound like it's a good deal, but you get 10 cents on a dollar and you got...
I got a term for this, and it's they'll try to machinery you.
Yes.
Old machinima used to give YouTubers like these really horrible contracts.
It's bad when you get coined. The term to be coined is...
But yeah, I get what you mean. And you're absolutely right. It's always worth just checking and making sure that we're not the ones checking, because we don't know what we're looking for.
Yeah. you do have to learn to protect your own peace when you work in these sort of industries. Me and Colin have worked on some unnamed projects in the past. Not everything's a dream scenario. It's not going to be ideal. Everyone has that vision of they're sitting in a nice game studio and they're just drawing concepts on Photoshop, but it's not always like that. You can't realize everyone's soft skills are important. Whoever's overlooking the project need to have some product management and understanding about it. And especially in the age we live in now, where we live in the AI hype craze era, where everyone's about generative AI and having AI workflows and AI tools. It's tough.
Ironically, I am working on a short about that called To Vibe or Not to Vibe in building a game.
Like vibe coding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah, that project Oscar was on about, I personally had to leave the project because the department that I was in at the time, I was asked to feed into AI programs stuff that I really wasn't comfortable with, and that was being pushed across the whole studio. They're going to go unnamed because I'm not going to say anything specific about any individual or corporation, but that was a situation I was really unpleasantly dissatisfied with. And for me, that was a very big realm of, okay, just because you can get paid to do something doesn't mean that it always outweighs what the collateral is.
Yeah.
We've got an interesting saturation of AI content on the internet now. The floodgates are not closing.
Yeah.
It's a surge of what I'd call entertainment slop. I know that is the word of the hour.
The century.
Yeah, word of the century. But it is, when it comes to generative AI tools, I guess, you can find some specific use for it, but it is just, you're not creating art at that point. It's entertainment. It's a lot of things that tickle your dopamine. They never leave you going, oh, that's a really interesting. I mean, not every video game has to be like a painting, like the Mona Lisa, but it doesn't have to be mindless either.
Okay, because I really need to wrap this up because it's gone way longer than I expected.
Yeah, we do apologize.
Oh, no, don't worry. This is great. Where would you want to be in 5 years?
Oscar, I'll let you start this one. Where do you want to be in 5 years?
So, be it StudioPilled or not, I really like working at just what I found out was I never like working in one place. I'm not a static person. I always like the idea of jumping across between different projects. So I do see myself being a creative designer still, games or not, going across different projects. Like if you ever heard of Atom Hawk, they don't develop long-term games. They studios outsource to them to create concepts, and that is something I'd like to do in the future, be in 5 years or not. Just jump between different projects, getting to experience all sorts of different things. You could say I'm a bit of a creative nomad when it comes to that. So I mean, as long as I get to create and design stuff, I don't mind taking a long-term project. But I kind of like that freedom of every month, I get to try a different client. It's really a different medium. It's that's really fun to do. I think I can see myself doing that.
What were you gonna?
Me personally, I'm someone who is firmly of the camp, manifest it and it will happen. So since a year ago, I've said with our team that this is it. We just keep going and it's going to work. And in 5 years, I mean, it's the right to be delusional, right? You set these grandiose goals for yourself. And for me, it helps manifest them because everything that I've said would happen in a year has happened in a year. So I'm hoping by saying this, what I say will happen in 5 years will happen in 5 years. So my intention fully is for us to steamroll with StudioPilled, go over the hills. We finished Clockwork Concoctions, and there's a couple projects we've got in the backlog that we know people want to see, because we've, sort of talked outside of our own team to get non-specific people's feedback on stuff. So for me, my 5-year plan is in the next 5 years, I want us as a team to have produced at least 3 to 4 projects that we as a team are really proud of and are beginning to monetize from, because I have nothing but faith in what our team can produce. And I firmly believe that in 5 years' time, that's where we'll be, a position where we're able to earn while doing what we love as a group. And that's my aim.
Yeah. It's a really good goal to go for, because, like I said, 3 to 4 projects in 5 years, it's doable, because, like you mentioned, Oscar, where you want to be working on a new project every month.
Yeah.
What I've personally find, when you're working on a project, ideally you have 2 projects on the go at the same time.
Yeah.
Because this is, how do I explain? This is what happens with AAA studios. Don't know how we always see the big, massive layoffs.
Yeah, every day.
That's because the project come to an end.
Yeah.
But what has happened 6 months before that, or at least a year before that, the big company has also started up a new project, which has been under NDAs, and none of those developers can talk about it. And pretty much what should happen is team members from team, imagine Team B is the new game, Team A is the original. What should happen is the Team A team gets transferred into the B team, and then go from there. But sadly, what happens is they build 2 entire teams, and then Team A turns into here's your last paycheck, and good looking.
Big cartoonish door where the big cartoonish button where the trap door falls underneath them.
Congrats, you built the game. Thank you, mate.
Death scene.
Which sucks, because it's happening all over, all the time now.
I remember being told before 2024, right around the corner, it's like, okay, we've hit the worst of the layoffs. And January 2024 happened.
You always think you've hit the worst of it,
Okay,
and it gets worse.
it has been a 2-year thing, people getting laid off. But from the numbers from what some people have been posting, it's getting less and less.
That's good.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
But look at it this way: we've had lots of big projects come out.
True.
It won't surprise me if you're going to hear about some Capcom layoffs soon.
Yeah.
Because of Resident Evil coming out. Because once the Resident Evil comes out, unless that team gets is Capcom Chinese, Japanese?
Japanese, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, then there's no. They'll probably have some in the North America team, but the Japan team's going to be fine.
Yeah, I don't remember too much about the ethics of industry work in Japan. I don't think they really do layoffs.
They don't like firing.
I only remember at Namco, they don't lay someone off. They just put them in the room when they do nothing. Don't take my word on that, but it's nothing like what they do over here.
Japanese culture is completely separated from ours. If once you hit a set age, they have like an entire clause of basically just go sit in this room and do whatever you want for the next 9 hours. Congrats, you're getting paid for doing nothing.
Yeah.
Because they do want the younger force to actually have opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so do you have any promo stuff you wanted to show off before we wrap up?
Yeah, Oscar, do you want to plug our socials?
I will do.
I will put this on a end card, by the way.
I mean, the main thing other than our socials that we want to express is the thing that Oscar just showed off, the Clockwork Concoction little vertical slice. That's available on itch right now, and we'd love for as many people as possible to give it a go and to join our StudioPilled community Discord afterwards to then give us the feedback, because we can only learn as much as people give us, and getting more feedback is always great. Plus, we might find your future game.
Okay, so I will definitely, if you send me those details, I will put them on screen somewhere, probably down like here and there.
Distribute this.
Sorry, what did you say, Oscar?
Sorry, I'm just pulling it up now.
No, wait, let me just get it on the screen. Oh yeah, if you guys are not on LinkedIn, and you are part of the games industry, definitely join LinkedIn. LinkedIn, is a great tool for meeting other devs.
It absolutely is. It's brilliant. I mean, everybody, especially in our local scene, is on LinkedIn. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, there's our resident wizard.
Mm-hmm.
You spot him in here. Sticks out like a sore thumb.
So we couldn't really see that.
you removed Where's Waldo?
Can't see him. He's disappeared. But yeah, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, we're on Blue Sky and X, and we also have a YouTube.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, we do.
I will add those in description. If you're sending me directly, send me them. I will put those in the descriptions. And yeah, I believe I'm hopefully going to have Harry on here, which is your PM. Isn't it? He's your PM, isn't he?
He's our project manager, yeah.
Yeah, producer and developer. Yeah.
Yep.
He's been busy these next few weekends, so that's why he hasn't come on.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, I'd use you and him to be able to talk, because obviously he can go much more in detail about the specs of our game. I mean, I just make the noises.
Yeah.
I just make drawings.
Because it'd be interesting, because I know he does the coding, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, because everyone has their own unique way of coding, and it'd be interesting to compare code.
Yeah, for sure. I'll let him know. Right, I've got all the links for everything, so I'll send those.
Like I said, I'll add them into an end card, and
Yeah,
go.
awesome.
But yes, thank you for your time. If you guys are not, do check out their itch.io game. Is it free to download, or is there a small fee? Or
Yes, it's free.
So do check out their demo. Defo give them advice, because I'm not gonna lie, game advice, playing a game and giving feedback is one of the best things you can do for a developer who is, especially in, is it beta stage?
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
It might even, yeah, I'd say it's better.
It's what I love about this local gaming Yorkshire space. Everyone kind of gives back to each other.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
It's a brilliant community.
that's it. Definitely please give them advice back. And by the way, I am also building my own game, so please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel as well. This channel as well, along with your YouTube channel and all their socials. Don't worry, it'll be. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. And if you are not, I will be setting up a Patreon, and there are some funny bloopers which happened at the beginning of the videos.
Many of you.
Yeah. And yeah, you will get to see those, and it also helps support me building Northern Level, also helping me get more people in on the show. So yeah, I will see you next time. Bye guys. Do you want to say bye?
Bye-bye.
Hey.